Hi there, this is Saeed with the Bloom Show, brought to you by New Bloom Solutions and Mobile Flowers. Today is a episode of Latest News. We are covering the protests in Ecuador. 2 weeks ago, we were able to cover the protests in Ecuador, and there was some great information, and we really wanted to get an update. So we have the pleasure and honor of having Alejandro Martinez, Executive President of Expo Florida. I'll let Alejandro explain what Expo Florida is. It's a great association that helps the farms in Ecuador, and there's actually two parts of it, I believe. So I'll allow him to share, but it's great to have him, and I really want to say thank you to him because you can imagine how busy he is trying to do different things and help solve these issues that are happening in Ecuador. So this is going to be a quick episode. Please feel free to chime in. It's very important to ask your questions. This is for the community. The intention of the Bloom Show is to help the floral industry connect, to collaborate through information throughout all sectors, and to highlight things that affect our industry so that florists, wholesalers, distributors, farms, even consumers are aware of the difficulties that we run through so that we partner together in making decisions. So please allow me to introduce and welcome on Alejandro Martinez. Alejandro, how are you?
Hello, Sahim. Good morning.
Very well. Good morning. Thank you again for joining. I can't say it enough. I truly appreciate your time today. I hope to make this short so you can go on. But thank you for your time. Appreciate you. So let's jump right into it. For anybody that's just starting to watch us and hearing of protests in Ecuador, which I don't believe it's too many people learning it for the first time, but if they are learning for the first time, what is happening?
Well, I'm sure everybody is aware because it's been 15 days now.
Yeah.
So I'm very sure the market, the consumer market, and the distributor market is feeling the whole pressure right now. Unfortunately, yes, Ecuador has been on strike for the last 15 days. It started with a group of which is called the CONAIE. It's a group of I would say that groups, all the indigenous groups in Ecuador, okay, and they've been demanding some 10 points towards I would say economic rules or ruling, some of the political and laws that has to be changed in terms of social and economic ways. But for this, they've done a strike, which is, I would say, a violent strike. It's not a common strike. It's not a peaceful demonstration of things, which is unfortunate because the constitution in Ecuador actually, it allows you to make strikes. I would say pacifist strikes, not the type of strike that we're living in right now. Most of the farms, I would say, 100% of the farms have had the difficulty to actually deliver flowers to the airport. There've been farms that have been able to get, I would say, between 70 and 80% of the production out, but you have farms that have been able to deliver 0% of their production out, okay? Wow. Which is an extreme. It's not an easy situation because we are, as I mentioned before, this started with the CONAIE, with this group, but everybody here knows that there's a lot more involved into it. Drugs is involved in it. The drugs, I would say, transportation, and some other political interests between other groups here, and that's the reality. That's something that we have to face on here, unfortunately, because I would say after all that has been done in this country for the last 40 years, and floriculture is a great example of it, which is a great development, not only economically, but socially as well. But we still have this. We still have this, I would say, this great distance within the society, and it has to be solved. We're not agreeing with the way they wanted to solve it. It has to be discussed. It has to be deeply discussed, and not by the president. and this is where the trick comes. It has to be discussed within the Congress here. That's what democracy asks for, and we're not doing that, unfortunately. But I would say that after this 15 days, things should go back to normal within the next 2 or 3 days. We're hoping this. If that doesn't happen, I am guessing the government has to, I would say, go to step 3 on this, which is the use of force. I'm not saying lethal force. Please don't be scared about that. It's just force, mass control. Okay, it's tough because nowadays it's not like in the 80s, where you can use a lot of non-lethal ammunition and just push people around. It's not that easy today. You have to be aware of human rights. You have to be aware of there's something that has to be discussed at the end. Unfortunately, the talking is not happening yet, and that's really hurting the whole industry, and it's also hurting all other industries. I would say it's hurting the whole country. The cost of the country right now of the strikes is about $580 million so far. If we add that to what the government has say, okay, let's go with lowering the cost of the oil prices and giving out some benefits, the total cost right now should be adding up to maybe $900 million or so, which is a lot.
And I'm sorry I didn't ask about this, but can you give us, because I'm going to ask you a question about how Expo Florida is involved, can you give us a little synopsis of what Expo Florida is?
Well, Expo Florida is an association of the growers, exporters, breeders, airlines, freight forwards. Everybody's here. We've been running out for 38 years right now. And I would say if we get the whole industry here together, we have about 79% of the industry affiliated to Expo Florida, which is nice. I would say it's a modern, serious association. We have to deal a lot with local policies that we need to push or push back in some cases. Of course, our goal is to increase output of flowers. That's the goal. It's not always easy. You have your challenges, which makes this job very interesting because it's not boring. I'll guarantee you. It's we do have our fixes and our goals very clear here. We're not elite. We're elite people. I'm saying we try to involve everyone on the I would say the great challenge of producing, growing, exporting flowers, which is a very nice business. Tough but nice.
And what is Expo Florida? Because one thing I have to give you, and I really appreciated it, was the video of saying that came out with Expo Florida saying, let's become allies. It's an industry that's giving so many jobs, so many paychecks, so many livelihoods. Let's become allies. So what are the steps that Expo Florida is taking to have more of a part of an action part, you could say, when it comes to these protests and solving the problems?
Well, the first step that we've done here is first of all protect the growers here. So we've very much on every occasion that we've been able to get the relevant either video or photos or data, we've published every I would say every violation to the law. Okay. Wow. So that's the first thing we have to do, because we have to protect our members here, no matter what. Of course, we're not the law. Of course, we're not the government, so we cannot, go and protect them with weapons and stuff like that. That's not our job. Okay. And so that's the first thing we have to do. The second thing is we've opened our space in terms of as an association that has the data that has the interest of exporting more flowers, has the interest of involving more people in this business, to actually help illegal growers, which are part of the strike in here, to get things straight, to get things on the line, so they can actually make a good business as anyone can in terms of exporting flowers. It's not an easy job. We really have to be able to talk to them, to talk to the authorities, to talk to other growers, to talk to breeders, because we have to get to a point where this actually ends up good, meaning that at the end of the day, whoever gets the opportunity or the risk of involving an investment like this, we want there to be successful, not to get there to a point where you get to shut down or just disappear.
Understood. And then there's also a movement for you to become almost the facilitator in the conversation. Is that my understanding?
Yes, we've suggested the government and the mediators, which are basically the embassies here of many countries. The US is one of them. So we've involved there as facilitators in one of the 10 points, which has to deal with royalties and formality in terms of flower growing. So we're there.
That's great. And who better to do that than the association that is aware of all angles. We have a quick question here from Emilia, which says we should expect on bigger prices for wholesales. So I guess the question is, should the consumer and the florists expect a higher price and price for their product when shipping to the US?
For that answer, I'm not going to answer as Expoflores. I'm going to answer as an experience in economy. Yes, prices are going to go up. If you have less offer or less supply, the exact same demand, prices are going to go up.
Yeah.
Up until a moment where we can actually dispatch flowers from here, and then the market should actually level up again. I would say in no more than, I don't know, a week or so. So that's the way the world works. So unfortunately, yes, prices should go up.
And to explain to Emilia a little, and thank you, Emilia, for that question. Everything's more expensive now, not because it's less production, but people are having to go, and farms are having to go the extra mile to deliver as well, correct?
Well, in the cases of those farms who have been able to dispatch their flowers all the way to the airport, some of them have made from a typical 2.5 hour trip, maybe a 6 to 7 hours, and some others who have usually do a 5 to 6 hour trip, they're doing a 15 to 24 hour trip to deliver those flowers, right?
Wow.
If they can go through. Some others, they have been able to dispatch from the farm, but the cargo has been basically shut down on the middle of the road, and they've been there hanging there for maybe a day and a half or 2 days before they can go back to the farm and just rest there or be there till something happens in terms of opening the roads again. So it is a difficult situation. It's going to end up, I would say, fine in the next days. That's for sure. We need to be worried about how to help these communities, this very big breach that we have within this society in terms of getting more opportunities, and I would say fair legal opportunities to communities that, unfortunately they have, because of governments here or policies here in the last 50, 60 years or so, unfortunately that gap has either maintained itself as is right now, or actually in some cases the gap has been even bigger. Right. So we have a challenge here, and I'm not saying just us as Ecuadorians or floriculture in Ecuador. I would say us worldwide as an industry. We don't. I would say it's not a good business to have Ecuador out of the business right now. Okay, it's not good for anyone. So if we think it over, we don't want this to happen in Kenya. We don't want this to happen in Colombia. It's not something that we want to happen. So I'm saying the discussion has to go even farther than just Ecuadorian floriculture. I think it's fair to say that.
So something that you had mentioned prior, and it just caught my attention, you had said that illegal growers are a part of the protest. How is that? So they're having an influence there?
Yeah, most of them are part of it. They unfortunately they're run by I would say ancestral cultural ways,
Okay.
which are the indigenous ways here, and they have to be part of the protests. Um, they're feeling the pressure now of not selling flowers for 15 days, unfortunately for them as well. So they join the whole strike with I would say the point that maybe they're very aware of it and they're very scared of it, which is royalties in their cases and formality, because they don't really have labor contracts. They don't really have social security for their workers. So that sort of illegal crop is not good for anyone, but it's real. It's there. So we've worked with them for the last 8 years to try to get them to the formal part of it. Some of them have, and they've been doing great business, doing the things the right way. Some of them have not, and I'm saying, and I'm thinking that this should be the opportunity to get them back into formality and do things the right way.
That's interesting. We never think of that looking from the outside in, that there's you're also working with illegal farms to help our industry in reality to make the formalities work. And that's great. That's cool insight. So please feel free to ask any questions to any of the viewers. If you have any final questions, I do want to mention something because I'm looking forward to it, is Expo Florida. And sorry to go to the convention, but just excited about that for October. Tell us a little bit about that. The convention is happening when?
Yeah, at last. Thanks to
Yeah.
COVID, we haven't been able to do this for 4 years now. So it's going to be October 5th, 6th, and 7th here in Quito. It's going to be called the same, Expo Florida, Ecuador. It's going to be on the same venue, which is on the old airport. It's a very nice installation for the show. We have a full house in terms of exhibitors, and so far, if I'm not mistaken, we're close to 900 subscribers right now.
Wow.
Last show, which was 2018, we had 1,642 visitors. So for this time, we're expecting about 1,800 more or less.
Okay.
Which is a great number. It's great to have you here. It's the industry has to go forward. We're going to have Colombia here as well, and I'm sure that next year we're going to be in Colombia as well. It's a very important decision to be here. Everyone knows that floriculture from the U.S., floriculture from Colombia, and from Ecuador, we're all complementary in this business. We need to be able to make the best product, the best quality product that the consumer is willing to pay. So we really have to work on together. We have to be able to talk not only the nice things, but also the bad things that we need to solve. So the show is a great opportunity for this. We're going to be showing our carbon neutral program that we should be, we should achieve the goal before 2030. That's the goal, where the whole industry is going to be carbon neutral. So
Wow.
yeah, but we started this year, so we should be able to comply with that. So we're going to explain a lot about that on the show as well. How are we going to comply with that? And of course, our clients, they're part of it, so they need to be aware of how they can get involved with it and be part of it as well.
That's all, and again, 2 years in the coming. So I remember when we spoke 2 years ago, and then it had to be postponed. You did do see Floridas, and you have done some things along, and that's a testament to the resiliency of our industry. of still going, even though we're limited. And I'll tell you, that's a great testament to Expo Florida. And now this convention, I'm excited. It's going to be my first year going, so really looking forward to being able to go and check out all the great information and the great vendors that are going to be there as well. So really looking forward to that.
Yeah, and
Truly,
the good thing is we're aiming for the same strategy as well, or the same benefits, I would say,
Mhm.
for the visitors. So you're going to get discounts, great discounts in the hotels, great discounts in many of the restaurants here. Of course, a great show, and what everyone expects, and maybe more after a COVID pandemic, the greatest party, which is Thursday, which everybody is inviting as well.
And I also have to say that I'm taking the benefit because of no traveling. I'm taking the benefit of going to Mindo right after on the weekend. So think of it making it a long weekend when you get to Ecuador, because Ecuador is a beautiful country. So there's a lot more to this Quito. You know, get out to, I'm taking a little trip to Mindo and renting a little cabin and looking forward to that too. So making a little small vacation out of it. So
Yeah.
that'll be great. So really, I truly appreciate your time. Thank you again for the insight, for the information. I know the viewers value this time that you give them and value the information, because with good information comes good decisions. And I think that that's truly important for all of us within the flower industry. So thank you very much again, Alejandro.
Thank you, Sahim. Have a great day, and everybody as well. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll put you back in the bloom room. Take care. So again, thank you, Alejandro, for his time. I can imagine that he's very busy and has many things moving in his day to day, especially with these protests happening, and even the planning of Expo Florida. Those things take a lot of work. So thank you again to him. I hope that this show brought some insight and some understanding. It's great to hear that changes are coming in the next two or so days. Obviously, he can't promise that, but that was a positive insight and positive outlook that these problems are going to be solved. And then to the viewer that had the question, was the prices will start coming down, obviously, because it is a supply and demand. So it is assumed that prices will start coming down with Ecuadorian product and even other product that is being found around the world to supplement this shortage. But our best wishes goes out to the farms and all the families and everybody going through these protests. I've seen many videos and people, putting fires to boxes, throwing rocks to trucks. So it has been, as Alejandro said, violent. So we do hope that everybody stays safe and secure. And we are here to help. If there's any other questions you have, send us an email. We could always ask questions. And truly, thank you for being a part of this today and joining us today. Also, don't forget that we have some great interviews next month, or next week, actually. We're having Mark Dubner on June 26th, 28th at 2 p.m. So Mark Dubner, June 28th at 2 p.m. And on July 12th, we're having Marco Groot, which I'm super excited to speak to Marco Groot, and very excited to speak to Mark Dubner as well from Stellar Farms. So again, thank you very much for joining us. And thank you for Alejandro for joining us and giving us the time, and Expo Florida. Truly appreciate it. Take care.